It's Gonzalo Higuain, and it's buried in the top corner. Campana, and again.
No question about it. I am ready to get hurt again.
And we are just a little over a month away from getting hurt again, but still feeling pretty confident about everything. We have a special guest here today.
What's up, everybody? How you doing?
It is Mike Marinelli, everybody's favorite PA announcer. Actually, you're the only PA announcer at Drive Pink Stadium, so I think by default you're everybody's favorite, right?
Yeah, no doubt about that. Yeah.
Have you ever had anybody dislike you?
I mean, not that I know of, and whatever. I mean,
nobody's ever come up to you and said like, "You didn't say my name with enough enthusiasm."
No. Everybody's pretty happy with that. I'm pretty energetic on the mic. I don't know if you.
Yeah, you are.
You've heard me. Yeah, I try to throw some energy out there because it's Miami. It's the flair. You got to have fun with it.
Yeah, for sure.
So hopefully no one hates my work, but you never know. To each their own, right? That's on them. It's funny. I get a lot of heat on TikTok, so I do a bunch of TikToks, and I always post my starting lineups there on TikTok.
Oh, nice.
So all the British folks are not too fond of the way that we announce our starting lineups, like in America. They hate on it big time. Yeah.
Why?
Well, I imagune because it's very boom. It's very flary.
Yeah.
It's very like.
Yeah, exactly. Like they put on there all the comments. They're like, "Oh, this is so un-American," And I'm like, have you ever watched an NBA game? Have you ever watched the NFL?
Big Andre Yedlin.
Yeah. They want me to go. Welcome to today's game. Hello.
Oh, you know what? You just sounded like a FIFA intro, and I had never considered that.
Oh, there you go. You see? Welcome to today's game. The pitch is fantastic. You gotta give him some of those, right? Yeah.
Maybe you should throw that in there every once in a while.
Yeah. Throw everybody off. And be like, oh, this guy has multiple personalities over here.
Do you have that leniency to be able to kind of like throw in that little jab or anything like that, or is that something that you really don't want to do in that sort of scenario?
What's cool about the way the stadium is they're pretty cool about like letting you kind of try new things and be fun, and that's on the producer who produces our show, like, because we call it a show basically. So upstairs you can kind of have a little fun with it, but obviously some things work, some things don't. So, and we're such a young club with very few traditions that it's hard to kind of like build that tradition. But I think over time we're starting to kind of move our way up through the stadium environment, which obviously it's a party, right? Like it's with the supporters, everybody seems to be having a great time, but it's just about finding those little traditions here and there that make everything so special.
Was that Higuain call last year when you were trying to get everybody to get Higuain your favorite call?
Oh my God, that was
awesome. Been working.
So I've been trying to get that in for years. Okay, and I had seen the one that happened when he was in I think it was in Italy, where
in Napoli.
This guy in Napoli, he would come out on the field and the guy would have the microphone. And he's like, no, and then
he was rocking it, bro.
Yeah.
I know the crowd was going with it.
Yeah. So I'm like, you know what? I got to get this in, sometime, right? So I'm like, finally, I took a shot at it because I didn't know what they were going to say. And I'm like, you know what? Let's give it a shot. Let's see what happens. And so I started doing it. And I'm like, oh, I got the chills. I'm like, oh, that's like a PA address, announcer's dream, right? When you rock the crowd like that, you're like, oh, okay, I did something special there. That was cool. So, besides my first time on the microphone, I'm like, all right, that surpassed all.
That's up there. That's up there
dreams.
For sure.
That's up there. That's the number one moment. Yeah. There's highs and lows, right? Like anything, like any new job you jump into, but that was one of the coolest ones for sure.
I definitely want to get into the low because I'm sure that'll be some type of funny story. But before I get into the low,
I got some good ones.
Before I get into the low, I did want to know, like, how long have you been with Inter? I can't remember because obviously in 2020 we weren't really there that often.
It was a weird kind of way that I came in. I want to say maybe 2 or 3 games in to the first season. So it was kind of random and at chance on how it all happened. But yeah, I started relatively, like, I've been there with the club since the first season.
That's
And
really good, man.
You just went and applied. You're like, yo, I could talk on the mic.
So
Yeah, like how did
funny
that come
story.
about? Because because
Yeah.
usually in the steps of like that field, it's not necessarily like common to just be like, hey, I stumbled across a common, a PA announcer
Exactly.
job,
So here's kind of how it all happened, right? It was very much by chance, and like I said, it's a very Miami story, right? So obviously I'm born and raised in Miami. Went to Columbus High School down there in Miami, Florida. Graduated from there, but then I started working there, right? And I've always been a public address announcer. I played sports in high school, but I always had a passion for like announcing, right? I always
Speaking.
liked the vibe in the stadium and like what kind of atmosphere you have, and it just made it that much more fun, right? Like I would go to the Orange Bowl with my dad, my parents, and we'd go watch the Hurricanes play, right? And that was such a cool thing to hear J-Ro in the background. Like I just remember that as a kid, never seeing the Hurricanes lose for 8 years, but I remember that voice in the back of my head, and it kind of sticks. And so I was like, man, I was always intrigued by that. And then in high school, I had finished my football season. It was basketball season. And I remember always going to the Heat games and hearing Mike Biamonte, and that guy was awesome. I always looked up to him.
Yes.
And the basketball coach at our school was like, hey, we need somebody to announce. Like, does anybody do it? And like, my boys played for the team. They're like, yo, this guy does it. He messes around, but he's pretty good at it. And so my first gig was a high school announcing job. And that's how it all started. And so anyway, long story short, I'm there at Columbus announcing as a high school kid. I go to University of Miami. I start doing college games. So I did college, women's soccer at University of Miami. That was like one of my first college announcing gigs. I did some FIU baseball. I announced for A-Rod for his basketball tournaments. So I started picking up more and more work. And then, eventually I got a job at Columbus as a director of admissions and a teacher. And I started announcing high school games like on the side for some extra income. Well, long story short, right? Owners of the club, this guy's by the name of Jose Moss and George Moss, right? Well, their son played sports at Columbus. So they'd go to all the games. So they go all the games at Columbus, right? And they'd hear the announcer and whatever. Probably never thought much about it, but I would consider myself pretty good, right? And then I was just randomly approached by, I guess, their son. They really enjoyed my voice, and they were like, you know what, we think he could do this professionally. And like it was like literally by random chance, they show up to my office and they're like, hey, record this demo, send it to me in professional manner. And I'm like, absolutely, I'll do it, no problem. And sure enough, like within a few days, I got a call back saying, yeah, let's go you can do the Inter Miami 2 game, which was our Club 2.
Right.
Go do a game over there in the stadium, kind of USL game. Get it under your get one under your belt.
The water, see how
test out the water, see how it is. Because honestly, I had never done professional soccer before, so I was kind of like, that was what I was worried about. It's like I know sports, I know soccer, but I've never done professional soccer. So there was a few adjustments there here and there, but once I did a couple games, I'm like, all right, it's fairly easy. It's a lot less talking. It's a lot less talking than you normally would do in a basketball or football game, right?
Yeah.
But I had to, find the energy. I had to find that stuff. So I'm like, that's basically how it worked. And then from then on, obviously we started in the middle of the pandemic. So it was so awkward when we first started because there's nobody in the stands, right?
So you
so
were
who are you public announcing to?
I was announcing to no one pretty much for the first few
publicly
games.
Nobody.
I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that.
I mean, there was a couple
hundred
hundred
there.
Well, like you would have like ownership would be at the games. Some family members were allowed to go to some of the games.
Yeah.
So there were some people there, but you needed
That's
some.
true. I remember that the family was
you needed
going,
a public
that's right,
address. You needed a public address, but they started with limited fans at first, and then so it just kind of all came into place. I mean, everybody's wearing masks. Like I'm like the only one without a mask on up there because you're allowed to speak right in the microphone. So it was crazy, man, the first few years. But obviously now everything's back to normal. It's great. Like it's great to see everybody in the stands. And then there was nothing like having 18,000 fans at the stadium, rocking the house like that. That's amazing,
Yeah, no, but the only time we've had 18,000 fans in the stands is for Barcelona, which is killing me.
Well, that first LAFC game was awesome. We had a couple.
Yes,
we had some
Brady
sellouts
there and everything.
Yeah, man, you had all the stars out. I mean, that's what Miami football should be, right? I mean, we all know that, and it will be. I think it's just one of those things where you need everybody kind of to jump on, and Miami's you got to win, right? Like that's number one.
Or else nobody's coming, and they're all going to be downtown club space or something.
Exactly. I mean, we know Miami like anybody, right? I mean, we're on Miami guys. We get it. Like, you got to win. You got to produce a winner. If not, the fans just won't
100%.
go.
I'm assuming you have a couple things you want to test out this year.
Oh yeah, I got some good stuff. Hopefully, well, actually, we got a game. I have a friendly this Saturday with River Plate and Little Millonarios. So
That's
Yes.
right. That's Millonarios from
people
Bogota,
that-
from Colombia.
Oh yeah. So we got some good ones. We had a good one this Saturday, and then we got our first friendly with Inter Miami and Vasco da Gama on next Saturday. So should be a lot of fun.
Are you trying to implement anything like Mike Biamonte with the whole dos minutos? Like, are you cooking?
So
are we in the kitchen cooking?
I don't know if you've heard, but like I kind of have a little spin-off.
He
'cause I don't want to steal.
He
what
does
you
that.
know,
I
you know what I mean? Like,
I've
when
noticed
you
that you
ask
do
us,
that. Yeah.
how many
I hope
minutes
you,
are
I
left?
hope you guys.
Yeah,
I have picked that up.
Yeah. So like, I don't want to be like dos minutos because it changes obviously every time, and I didn't want to kind of copy what he did. So I was like, you know what? Let me come up with a little spin-off, like, hey fans, how many minutes? And then you guys all answer.
Yeah, how many minutes?
Exactly.
Whatever. Yeah.
I think you
So
should
the
say 2
extra
minutes
time.
anyway. I think it should
Yeah.
just be funny and just say 2 minutes all the time. Just say dos minutos.
Yeah,
It, even if it's 7.
Yeah, exactly.
But I would assume that for your profession, you're constantly trying to tinker with things and try to test things out, see if what works, what doesn't work, and I mean that's kind of entertaining, kind of fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. You feel like a ringleader. You can just kind of move the crowd, and obviously, our supporters are amazing, right? They're super passionate about the game. They are obviously our number one fans, right? They're at every game. They're amazing. Energy that they bring into the stadium is just, it's unmatched, right? There's no other sporting event like that in South Florida with that passion.
For sure, 100%.
So those fans are what really makes the club go. So I've always been one to like reach out to these groups and find out what they, so like I'll call them, I'll go to like, some of their events if possible. Some of the actual supporter groups have invited me. So I'm like, you know what, let me go. Like that shows that the club wants to go along with what they're doing. And I'll get input. I'll be like, hey, what works, what doesn't work, what do you guys like, what do you don't like? And they give us feedback. They give us honest feedback. And that's what, to me, makes the experience that I'm doing is almost, I'm like a bridge between the fans and the club.
Between the fan base and the
For
club.
sure.
That's for sure. That's a guarantee.
Exactly. I love that because I feel like the ownership wants that. They want to be with the fans, and they want, obviously they're the supporters. They're the ones that are coming to the games, and they want it to provide a great atmosphere.
Well, and I think that they see the importance of the involvement of the fans to the club, not just indirectly in terms of the support, but directly in terms of like, what is it that they want, not just on the field as far as like players are concerned, but like what they want to see in terms of like a aesthetic thing or like something to sort of, I guess, intensify like the experience,
Yeah, you're always looking for an edge. Obviously, it's your home field advantage. So you want like I feel like a lot of the MLS clubs didn't have a supporter section like ours. I mean, obviously we have a bunch of Latinos, right? You have so many different cultures.
Yeah, because
there.
we
have
a lot of them know what it's like just from their heritage,
from their home countries, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So from where their family or friends, wherever they're from, they understand what it's like to be in a professional soccer atmosphere. And I feel like as a club, we've set the tone for everybody else. And now you're starting to see more and more groups with the drums and the horns and do different things that our club actually was one of the first ones to do.
Yeah.
Well, and one thing that I wanted to get to before we get lost in the sauce here is that with Danny asked you if anybody hates on how it is that you say things or whatever, and everybody loves you here in Miami. But one thing I want to ask is we got to do something to get the other team to hate you, or not hate you, but just be mad at you. Like we got to do something there.
We got to figure something out.
Respectful, but like bang, you know what I'm saying? Like we got to figure something out there, so that way when like Atlanta United comes in, like, oh man,
no, Orlando is
we don't have Josef
Martinez.
Martinez.
Really get under their skin.
Oh yeah.
You want to
Yeah,
get under
yeah.
Orlando.
I mean, I
The Mickey
I
Mouse
try to.
Club.
I'm not
He
gonna
might
say
get in
anything
trouble for
about
saying
that.
that. Yeah, he might get in trouble for saying Mickey Mouse
Yeah,
Club.
I mean, you never know.
Mickey Mouse FC.
Yeah, I mean, it's very close. It's very close to the
And I
city.
go to Disney a lot, so I wouldn't condone that, by the way. So, but
Yeah,
again,
yeah.
it's just something to sort of like where
It's
it
funny.
sticks.
It's funny. I wore this shirt at Disney with my kids, and I got a couple of dirty looks. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'm the announcer.
Danny and I just recently went to Disney a couple months back, and we were rocking Inter Miami stuff, and like people
Yeah.
were looking at us. Like I remember I went through Disney Springs, and guys with Orlando City shirts are looking at me like hard looking at me
Yeah.
like, get out of here,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah, it's the battle for the turnpike there. You know, the El some Pasico. What do they call it? El Some Pasico.
Yeah,
Some Pasico. That's my favorite nickname.
There's some good
so-
ones, man. Yeah.
All right. So there's some rumors going around about Josef Martinez coming around. I feel like it's almost a foregone conclusion from everything I'm reading. Obviously, it's nothing official. Now, how excited do you get or to have a new person like this on your team if he were to come?
Usually where these rumors are happening, you kind of go with what might happen, and I think obviously if the club formally can announce it eventually, that would be great because I think he'd be a dynamic striker for us. He's going to be a guy that's going to put it in the back of the net. He's going to be a guy that can score. He's won a cup. He's been he's an MVP of the league. Like, I mean, that what more do you want, right? I mean, that is the type of guy that you want, right? Obviously he's Venezuelan too, which I mean, we have an amazing Venezuelan community here in Miami. So I'm sure it's going to be something that he'd feel at home. I mean, he's going to have the culture, the language. I think that's going to help. Not to say there's no Latinos in Atlanta, but like, I mean, there's nothing like you
there's nothing like Miami. And then
Dorazuela, right? Like, there's
yeah, exactly. And there's a play there.
Dorazuela.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking about the risk and reward with him, right? Because his play has dipped a little bit after his injury. But my understanding, again, nothing's official. But if he were to sign, it's because Atlanta's probably going to be cutting him, which means he wouldn't come on as a DP. And honestly, I feel like risk reward.
If that's not a DP spot,
right? If that's not a DP spot, you jump on that.
Bag. Yeah, you need
that
because
you need
to jump on that quick.
The roster spot that he's taking up, whoever it is, isn't going to have the history of production or the ceiling of production that he would bring on. Right. So obviously, I would love to have him on. I think that him next to Campana, like that's another thing. I don't know how Neville would play that. I don't know if he would play two up top. But if we could play two up top, and I mean, Pozuelo's a whole nother story. I don't know if he's coming back or not. But with those two up top, man, I think that would be absolutely that would be so fun. And I think that your voice might have to do some throat exercises before the games because you're gonna be
we should be scoring a lot of tea
scoring.
And honey, absolutely. That's a great time, man. I mean, like, I love calling a good goal too. Like, I mean, it's hard to control your emotions because you're a fan too, right? So you're sitting there, and all of a sudden, imagine just that little chip by Gonzalo or or Campana or somebody just throws in the back of the net. You're like, whoa! Like, so you're going nuts. You haven't pressed the button yet to go live on the whole stadium, but you're like going nuts with all the cameramen and all the other guys in the booth with me. I'm like, we're jamming up there too. Like, we're having a good time.
Well, actually, that Campana goal against Orlando, the one that he scored in like the first 30 seconds. Did you like turn around and like start setting yourself up and then miss the goal? Because
we were debating. We're debating. We're like, was that the fastest goal in MLS history? So I'm like scrambling to look for that to announce that.
Yeah.
And then I look, and obviously I think like Rooney has like the fastest goal or something like that. But we were actually scrambling to try and find out what the record was. But yeah, it was awesome. That was crazy.
That was wild. And because I go to the games with my wife, she has to eat before we go to our seats. So I missed that goal because I usually miss the first minute or so of every game because I got to make those long food truck lines.
Especially that Mexican truck out in by the supporter section. Oof, that one is fire.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Trucks. The food is,
but they got some good ones.
But you gotta wait. Yeah, but you gotta wait. Yeah.
Well, we do have a gripe here on the show. We have a gripe on this show. I know that you have absolutely no control over this, but we're gonna let you
Okay.
know anyway. Okay.
Let's
This
hear
is a
it.
staple of our show. We have a problem with the Bustelo. Okay.
Yep.
We like the Bustelo. We don't have
Big
a problem.
problem.
The problem is that when we go, we want our Bustelo made by abuelitas.
I have a feeling. Yeah, I was gonna say.
We want
was
abuelitas
thinking the
making
same
our
thing.
coffee.
I
And
was thinking
every
the
time,
same
and look,
thing, I'm not gonna lie.
no heat on those guys. They can go off to another stand and serve beer and stuff. But
Yeah.
I want an abuelita serving my coffee, man. Like
Hardworking
nobody makes it
people,
like a
hardworking
abuelita.
people.
Yes,
Hardworking
yes.
people.
I don't want them to.
No,
Don't fire them. Just
no-
move them to the
no
to the
perfect-
hamburger
Yeah,
stand.
you want to hear the little.
Yes.
You wanna hear that.
Yes, yes. I want the spumita.
Now
Yeah,
the
you
one
want
thing.
the comida and you want the lady to kind of like just be mean to you. Like you need that.
I do. I
Just
need
be a
that.
little
Right.
mean, like hurry up, get your coffee.
Hágale.
Tu cafecita, vamos, next, próximo, go.
Listen,
¿Tú qué quieres?
and and if you're ever reading a sponsor for Café Bustelo, if you could just do that favor for us, maybe, hopefully, it's just throw in
it
there,
out there, like,
cafecito
hey, I've
with
heard-
abuelitas.
Yeah, we've heard
yeah.
through the grapevines that some people they just want some abuelitas out there.
Yes.
Yeah, we might have to file a complaint with the club. I think
Look,
that's the
we
next
have
step.
We have a couple. We had a shirt, right? We had a wish list of 3 things. Now the first one we've gotten rid of because we've given up on Messi. We're not even going to bother.
Hopefully
anymore.
it wasn't get rid of Mike Marinelli. Okay, that's number 1. All right, good.
No. We like the PA guy. He's all right. Wait until we get Mike
All
Diamante. We'll give him Mike. So
Oh!
number 2. Number 2.
That's all right. I'll take the heat.
Abuelitas.
We'll trade. No.
I'll take that.
You might get a pay raise.
That was good. That was good. That was good.
Number 2, abuelitas. We need abuelitas at the coffee stand. We need it. Number 3, queremos techo. We need a goddamn roof because I know you stay dry up in your booth. But we don't.
I am always dry. Yeah, I'm always dry.
So those are our gripes.
Well, listen,
we need to take our
I
wish
would
list.
assume in the new stadium that's not going to be a problem. So
I would hope not, but
that should be
that's
breaking
the wish
ground
list.
soon. Hopefully, that's on the wish
sure
list.
hope so.
Your wish is our command. I promise you that. Hopefully, with that new stadium, we'll get it going.
So, all right. So, yesterday, Chris decided that he wanted to profess his love to Robbie Robinson on Twitter.
I saw that. I think I saw a clip of that. It was quite interesting.
Yeah, and he professed his love to
A little
Robbie
awkward, but
Robinson on
super
Twitter.
interesting.
It was, and then he thought that it was funny. And you know what? Look, we don't take ourselves too seriously. We just throw videos out there because we want to be funny. But he ended up getting a lot of hate for it, right? People were like, dude. And then they started kind of insulting Robbie. No need to insult Robbie. He's a nice kid. He can't help that he gets injured every once in a while. But everybody was hating on Chris. And Chris, what do you have to say for yourself?
I just don't understand why you can't ask the question, what about Robbie Robinson, right? Like, I'm not here claiming that he's a GOAT. I'm not saying that he's going to be the guy that's going to put 10 in the back of the net, right? I'm just putting a video together to kind of say, hey, what about this guy? You know, that's all I'm asking.
I mean, there's no question. Listen, when he's been on the field, he impacts the game, right? I mean, you've seen it, right? He scored some goals and made some big plays for us. So, I mean, he's also our first pick, right? I mean,
yes.
You go Inter Miami trivia right there. I mean, hey, he's the OG.
And all I asked was, take a look at this
Pellegrini's
guy.
the OG.
Oh, that's right. But that's all I asked. That's all I asked. Just what about this guy, Robbie Robinson? And everybody's like, really? Robbie Robinson? Robbie glass legs. And I'm like, whoa, dude, I tagged this guy on this. Like, really? Come on, man. And then all of a sudden,
somebody responded with one of those GIFs where they kind of just like brushed you off. And man, I was laughing for quite a bit. Let me tell you, I got to bring this up tomorrow because that had me laughing for a while.
I mean, luckily I don't take it too serious, like in terms of like, what they're saying, like whatever, it's Robbie Robinson. Like, I think I might double down and make a video on, on Diop.
He's got some highlights.
Who knows? Like, yeah, I mean, at this point, like, who cares? You know what I mean? But like, geez, like, well, you got to beat the kid up, man. He's not,
Yeah, I mean,
whatever.
listen,
Listen, the fans are
I think
passionate. I'll give them that. They're
that's
passionate.
the reason why they're called fans is because it comes from fanatics, right? I mean,
Yes.
that's what we are, right? We're all
Yes.
fanatics, and we want the best for our club, and everybody's gonna have their own opinion, right, on everything.
Well, Chris has a love for wingers because he loves Robbie Robinson and he loves Emerson. Those are his two favorite players.
Oh my God, I don't love Robbie Robinson. Let's scale that down real quick. Let's reel that one back there. I'm not saying I love Emerson. The kid. Well, I mean Emerson, yes, but you know what? At this point, I think I'm just gonna make a video about Frey and just whatever, just toss him in a video, and everybody's gonna think I'm.
Frey's gonna be good if he can stay healthy. Yeah. Yeah,
we got some great new signings too. I mean, you saw we got Chicho now. Little Stefanelli, right?
Yeah,
so,
and
not to be confused with Marinelli, but
and that's a great signing too, for sure.
The thing with Chicho is that he kind of confuses me how he fits in with Coco, because I feel like the scouting report that I heard with Chicho is the identical scouting report I heard with Coco when he came over here.
Yes.
He could play the 9, he could play the wing, you could even get creative and play him at the 10. And I was like, okay, well, we got that in Coco last year. So we just got another Coco now. Then we added, or we're trying to add Joseph. We got Campana. Okay. Right. I mean, you can never have too much talent at attack.
I never questioned the boss man, Chris Henderson.
No, Chris Henderson works magic.
He is incredible. So,
I trust him.
With that being, I trust every move that we make. Every time he makes a move, I'm like, all right, we're going in the right direction. I'm excited, and I start practicing their names because I know it's going to be
fun. Now I know you're a fan at the same time, right?
Sure.
Now I know that the team looks good, but if there was one part of the team that you think could improve, what part of the team do you think could just use a couple more additions?
I think we needed some help on the back line last year. I mean,
same here.
Okay. You could be honest, right? If you're watching the game, I mean, we'd score a goal and then we'd give it right back, right? So, I think the back line needed help, and we did sign. I think we just signed a left back recently.
Yes, we did. Yes. Yeah, we just did.
Franco Negril.
Yeah, Negril. So I think we're doing what we got to do to fix up the back line and make sure that it's as tough as possible to make it tough to score on us. Drake had a great year, I thought.
Yes.
So that to me, that's been amazing to see the club grow and make moves to get better, right? I mean, that's what we're doing. We're trying to move forward every year, and that's how you do it, right? You try to fill the voids that you can see visibly out there.
And I haven't been following the team for so long, but at least from one year to the next, and then the year prior before I really, really got into this, I've noticed that there's been a positive progression, like in terms of the signings, in terms of the acquisitions, in terms of the gameplay, the strategy. So that's the one thing that I do see that's really, really good out of the organization, that they're making the right moves. They're making the right changes to their strategies. And I mean, look, it's great to see the organization going further and further in the right direction.
I think over the next few years. Yeah, no, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I looked it up. We have five clean sheets all year. So okay. We're constantly giving up goals.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry, I interrupted what you said.
Just came in and dropped the hammer.
I'm just saying.
Hammer and
we only had 5 clean sheets.
Defense. All right.
Good. Or as you were saying.
No, but I think, like, listen, you fill your voids and you do what you got to do to get better. And I think the club is addressed it, and hopefully, we're going to have those impact signings that everybody wants and we can talk about as fans, and it'll be that much better for it, right?
Look, I would love to get Alexander Cayens from NYCFC. Before I got into Inter Miami, I was a NYCFC supporter before Inter Miami came into existence. And man, that he's a baller. I don't know if there's any possibility of getting him, but if we can get him and McVay moving into center back, the depth that we would have when it comes to Open Cup and everything. Because when you go to Open Cup, you need depth because you're not going to play just your regular starters all the time.
Yeah.
I think that the depth we would have with McVay, if we can get Kyans, then you have Lowe and in Mabika back there, Sailor. I think that we would be in a really good spot as far as that goes. So that's the signing that I'm hoping for as far as the back line. Because like you, I think that the back line needs some help. And we need I
forgetting
think
Noah
that we
Allen.
also need yes. That's another thing that we always ask for on here. We always ask for Noah Allen.
They got him locked up, bro. They got him locked up. They got him locked up. They got to bail him out.
But you know what? I think he's gonna get some playing time now, man. Because with the Open Cup and then the Leagues Cup and everything, I think he might see some.
Yeah, the Leagues Cup expansion. I mean, that's huge. I mean, you're talking tons more games, and hopefully the club can utilize that and showcase some players.
Yeah, I think that and just real quick to answer Lucas. No, Joseph was not confirmed, unfortunately. Just speculation at this point. Everything's pointing to hopefully that's true, but we'll see.
There's a lot of rumors out there, and you hope.
Well, another rumor is that Pozuelo might be coming back, but with the whole Pizarro situation where he's a DP right now, and we don't know what's exactly happening with him. If Pizarro stays, I mean, I haven't heard, but I would assume that would be very hard to bring back Pozuelo because having two DPs that play basically the same position, I think would be tough. Then you already have Campana as a DP, right? My understanding he's going to be a DP, so I'm not sure how that's going to play out. But I really feel like,
he posted those pink cleats though, and I got so excited. I was like, oh.
As did I. I thought that was a sign.
I don't know if you saw that.
Like, oh,
I don't know if you saw that. Yeah, I got so excited when I saw those pink cleats. I was like, oh.
Yeah, but as of now, look, everybody, look. I can't say this enough. I think I say this once every episode. Higuaín was great last year, but Higuaín didn't just randomly turn it on. It was the Pozuelo effect. Pozuelo helped him turn it on. Now, you got to give Higuaín credit for putting the ball in the back of the net, but Pozuelo, it's not a coincidence that he took off right when Pozuelo arrived.
I could not agree with you more. I mean, listen, Gonzalo Higuaín, first class, world class, right? I mean, you see the type of player that he is and was, right? And you can just see, like, even him at an older age is still top notch, right? Like, but then by adding a guy like Pozuelo who can distribute and get the ball there, that's exactly what we needed at that time, and you could see it just took off from there.
Well, and I mean, look at the comment that Lucas just made. I mean, he needs to come back, and he turned us over. Listen, that guy made more of an impression in half a season, like 5 minutes, more than Pizarro did, like in what was it, like a year and a quarter or whatever. I mean, I don't know.
Look, Pizarro had his moments before Higuaín got there. Once Higuaín got there, I'm not sure why that they just couldn't figure it out together, and so. Obviously, if you have to pick between Higuaín and Pizarro, I mean, Higuaín's going to win out that. And, maybe Pizarro comes back and maybe he plays better now that Higuaín's gone. They just, for whatever reason, they didn't mesh. And I guess Steve Munoz over here, he just commented, just tuning in, but posted that pic of himself at the training center. No idea what picture you're talking about. Don't get me excited, please. I haven't seen any picture of him at a training center, but I would hope that he comes back. Oh, okay. See, you're gonna get me excited too. Okay, so hopefully he comes back because the thought of Pozuelo feeding the ball to Josef Martinez and to Campana. I mean,
don't get me excited.
You excited? My vocal cords are getting ready. Yeah.
But now here's Lucas that says that he needs to come back, but then 2 messages before. He's talking about passing the ball over to Coco Mystery Jean. Like, what are we doing here? Right? I hope that the breakout season is incoming. And if it does, Lucas, I got a gift for you, my friend.
I don't know. I don't know why you hate on Coco so much. We didn't see him. We don't know what he is. I still have high hopes for him. I still have high hopes for Coco.
Send that meme.
I don't know. But yeah, look, I think this offense would be cooking with gasoline if we got Pozuelo feeding the ball to Josef Martinez and Campana. Again, I don't know if Neville would play with 2 up top. The couple of times that he did play with Higuain and Campana. I felt like he was playing Higuain more further back, maybe as like an attacking midfielder more than a striker. But look, if he could figure it out, man, that would be awesome. And I'm just looking forward to hearing you call those goals, honestly. All right.
I can't wait.
So with all these new signings, obviously, there's unfortunately going to be some casualties as far as time, right? You only have 90 minutes. You only have 9 positions. I'll go to you, Chris. Who do you think is going to be losing out on some playing time this year?
Well, I mean, I think for sure you're going to have Bryce Duke losing minutes. I think Bryce Duke is going to lose minutes, unfortunately, because
and I hate that
Pizarro's
because I
around.
love Bryce Duke.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think, and that's
Yeah, he's a
killer.
great young player. Yeah.
yeah, I love Bryce Duke.
And if you look here, you know, Osvaldo Gonzalez just put up right here. Pizarro is a me first player versus Pozuelo is a team first. You know, that's a major difference. I mean, I could see that, but again, it's a little hard, especially considering that he was playing with Higuain, and then, like you mentioned, Danny, we're talking about he would always sort of bitch and complain whenever Pizarro would make like a really bad play or whatever. So I don't know. I mean, I can make heads or tails about that, but I feel bad because of Pizarro returning, Bryce Duke could be losing minutes. I feel like with these extra wingers that are coming in, I feel like your Lassiters and your Taylors, they're going to lose minutes. And Taylor to me is a boss, man. That's good.
That's Neymar light.
Yeah, and if he loses minutes, man, that's crushing because you could see that he is a baller. He just needs more opportunities.
But what I like about Robert Taylor is that he'll give you a couple quick flashy plays, but he'll finish. Unlike Pizarro, I feel like Pizarro dribbles in circles, and that drives me crazy because he doesn't really go to many places with the ball. But we're not going to criticize players today.
And Steve Munoz also points out here if he if we think
I certainly will not.
Yes. Yeah, that's why I jumped right over to the next
we'll jump off.
I love them. I love them all. I'm going to be a very quiet podcast right now.
So Steve chimes in again if he thinks that we can compete as a top 4 in the East, assuming Pozuelo and Josef are official tissue. I think
100%.
For sure, man, 100%. I mean, you see, look at that. Even Mike answered the question, right? I mean, come on.
Oh, but Mike just said that he loves everybody on the team. You can't take him seriously right now.
I am an unbattered heron. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if we could be a top 4 team. Not until they fix that back line. We need that extra center back. Honestly, that's what I think.
Yeah.
I think that our defense has been soft. I think Gregory was supposed to play the 6. He was placed as that defensive midfield, and I think that he had like an off year last year. Like he was still getting his tackles in, but they started playing Mota back there more than anything. He was like the outlet to the center backs because Gregory wasn't doing a good job of connecting the center backs to the Pozuelo and whatnot. I think that we need help on that back line, honestly, and until we address that, I still think that our defense might suffer. I think McVay being able to move from left back to center back is going to help big time because I do think McVay is better at center back. I don't think left back was his natural position. So if Negri plays a good left back, you have Yedlin at right back, and you have McVay as one of the center backs, all we need is to – and I like Lowe. I just thought that he wasn't necessarily consistent. So if we can pick up Akayans, again, I'll say it again. If we can pick up Akayans, I feel like that back line is solid. And once we have that solid back line, man, I feel like a top 4 for sure. But until then, no, I'm not convinced yet.
Well, what do you think, Danny, about Steve that he just brought up that he thinks Emerson, my boy, is going to be playing water boy at some point in the season, right? I mean, I know he's going to lose minutes, right? But I mean, I don't know if he's going to be a water boy, and if he is, he's going to be pretty fast to get you the water. So
look,
that's good. He'll keep our teammates quenched.
No, I think Emerson, I think he has raw skills. He comes from Millonarios, which I know they're going to play a friendly this Saturday at Drive Pink Stadium. That's where he comes from. And I know some Millonario fans. And when we got him, I went and I spoke to them, obviously, because I want to know, I want to get the info on this kid. And they said he's raw talent. Like he shows moments of brilliance, but then there's moments where he kind of just leaves you scratching your head. Like, what is this kid thinking? Obviously, he's still very young, very raw. I think with the talent that Inter Miami is picking up and they're adding to the roster, I think the best move for him, and not long term, but maybe for this season, is maybe to go out on loan somewhere where he can get some more playing time, kind of keep improving, and then maybe bring him back next year. Because I think it would be a waste of his talent, because he is talented. When he gets on the field, he gets down the field quickly. But I think he just needs to be more polished. So I think that the best move for him is to maybe get loaned out. Is that going to happen? I have no idea. But I would hate to see the whole year go by and him just ride the pine most of it. I think that would be a disservice to him. So,
Mike, what are your thoughts?
he loves Emerson. What are you talking about? He loves
Emerson.
I already saw him. I saw him putting the life vest on. He said, I don't know.
Staying clear of those questions. Yeah.
No, for sure.
Well, let's take it a little bit lighter, right? There's something I've been wanting to bring up since last week. And if you can help me, Danny, I'm going to try to do this. Okay. The picture that I sent you. Boom.
Wait.
All right.
Ooh.
So we're going to do something here. I don't know what I just did. Hold on.
Easy money.
All good. That's good
So,
enough.
I want you to pick out of these options. What are you picking
For
here?
sure.
And first,
All
I
right,
want to go to
going-
first.
Let's give it context. Chris got into a debate in Inter Miami Twitter. I'm not sure how this started, but this became a debate.
Cali put it up on his Twitter. I put in my 2 cents, and he completely destroyed me, even though he made way worse of a pick. Okay.
Yeah, Lucas, we talked
But
about that.
let me not put any favoritism or make it any let's make it as unbiased as possible. So first, I want to leave Mike for last, but I want to go with Danny because I didn't get your opinion on this. What are you picking? I already know what steak you're picking, so you're already terrible. But go ahead.
Okay, okay. So steak 3, toast 3, and coffee D.
Oh, okay, I didn't expect that. I thought you were gonna go 5 on the steak.
I have a question on the coffee. Is the coffee Cuban or?
It looks like American coffee.
It
selection.
looks like American. Okay.
It looks like American. So any selection you make already makes you terrible.
It's
This
kind of
doesn't
funny.
need to be made by abuelitas.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll never forget. I was up north and I'm like, yeah, I go to a diner and I'm like, yeah, let me get an American coffee. And they looked at me like I had 3 heads. They're like, what? What is that? What do you mean? Is there any other kind? And I'm like, yeah, bro, I live in Miami, dude. Like, there's plenty of types of coffee. All right. So
what are you going with, Mike?
All right, cool. 100% I'm going with 2 on the meat.
Okay.
That looks like a good medium rare, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know. I would say that's medium rare.
Yeah. The 2. I'll let you go with the 2. The toast is the key here.
I'm gonna go 4 with the toast. 5 is just burnt. 3 is half-ass, in my opinion. 2 is basically just old bread, and 1 is just disgusting. Don't even bother with that. So I'm gonna go 4. I'm gonna go 4 toast and then coffee B.
So
little cream in my coffee, no sugar. That's it.
So here's the deal. I picked 5, right? And he totally took me through the ringer because I picked number 5 for toast. Yes.
You're a disgusting human being.
5 is I left it in a little bit longer.
He put it at 2, dude. You got it straight from the bag. You floated it over a candle for 10 seconds, and then you're gonna eat your sandwich
want all that
like
butter
that.
to just get. You want all that butter to get stuck to the. Exactly.
Who's picking 2? If you had to pick between 2 and 5, what you going with?
For what? For which one?
For the toast.
For the toast, I go 5. I'd rather go more toasted than less toasted all day. Absolutely. If not, it wouldn't be called toast. It'd be called bread.
Exactly. Right. Straight out the bag. Straight out the bag. You heard it here first, Callie.
Let's put that on a shirt. Let's put that on a shirt.
Yes. That is going on a shirt, and I am mailing it over to Cali for sure.
We got a question for you, Mike. Here.
From
Steve. Will you yell out the player's name after they score a goal like you did last season?
Steve, we have started a new tradition. Absolutely. I'm going to keep it going because it was so successful, and I would like to do that. So, yes, absolutely. I think it was really cool environment for the whole stadium. You're welcome, Lucas, by the way. The Higuain chant, yes, that was legendary. Thank you. That was actually one of the coolest moments for me as an announcer. So I really appreciate that. Thanks for the shout out. And then, but yeah, I agree. Like, we have to keep going with the chance of the players as they score. So my kind of strategy will be, we'll go goal call immediate, like powerful, Inter Miami goal. I'll do my goal call, right? Let it kind of like, let the moment build, because you want to have the fans enjoy it and like just go crazy. And then right before they reset that ball, then we're going to go goal scored in the 23rd minute. And we're going to all chant out. We're going to chant the first name, and then you're going to go last name, first name, last name. And then we're going to have some fun with it. So hopefully that's a new tradition we started, but we'll see.
If we get Joseph, right? They used to call him the king over there in Atlanta. So will you
Yeah,
yell?
we could do.
Will you yell El and we yell Rey, El, Rey? No, that's too corny.
We
All
could.
Right, I take it back.
I don't know. We'll see.
I take it back. Too corny.
Yeah, we'll see. It's hard because a lot of soccer players have nicknames. So like, it's like, when do you use it? When do you not use it? There's that. And then you want to know, does a player like that? Does he not like it? You always want to know, because at the end of the day, you also want to make the players feel happy too when they score, right? Like, that's part of it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, super appreciate
and
that's what players. And that's what players play for. They want to hear their name being screamed out in the stands and be recognized for what they did on the field, And so that's a great
that's
thing.
The beauty. That's the beauty of the celebration, right? Like,
yes.
They get that moment of, hey, we don't score a whole lot in soccer. Let's do this, right? Like,
Yes.
Well, actually, I hadn't really thought about this, because when it happens, I kind of just zone out into the field, like in the pitch, and I just start staring at the pitch in disappointment. And it's happened often. When the other team scores, I can't remember from the life of me what you say.
I just go very monotone, like goal score. Yeah, exactly. Kind of like the old Mike Biamonte, right? Like, all right, goal scored in the 34th minute.
This wacko.
By this dang guy. Yeah, exactly. So I kind of go like, that's. We're all pissed in the booth too. We're like, we're fans. Like I said, we're fans too. So you kind of like, you can't help but feel like, man, especially when another team scores a bunch, you're like, man.
But I think that's my favorite part, is that some people get jobs, at other places that they're not fans of, but knowing that you're a fan, it's awesome.
Yeah.
So
I rep us everywhere we go.
Well, it's funny because I was going to bring something up, Chris. Just 1 second. He said that he likes to rep.
Yeah, go ahead.
I did want to get your opinion on repping this. Now, I thought I owned that jersey already.
Is that proposed, or is that the actual kit?
That's the leak. I would assume it's going to look slightly different, but okay. I guess it's brighter pink. But
it's got stripes. It's a little bit different. You got the horizontal stripes.
Look, I don't get why MLS does this. Like, I understand that there's money in getting new jerseys, but at least make them different. Like, give me a gray jersey or something. If you want to keep the black and pink, I get it. But I never understood what the purpose is of changing it, but changing it so slightly. Because, for example, the NBA they have their
alternate jerseys.
They're alternate jersey, but they have those two that are just always there. So they should just keep the two that are always there and give us an alternate jersey, because it's basically what it is. What MLS does is that they have two jerseys every year, and then they change one of them one season, and that other, like, every jersey gets 2 seasons. And then
if you notice across the MLS, you'll see like everybody has the same numbers, like the same shape of numbers.
Yeah.
So it's a very unified league in that sense, which is very different. Like, everybody's Adidas, obviously, and everybody has to have the same numbers on the back. So it's in that sense, it's very different than European soccer, right? Like, you can pretty much have whatever sponsor kit, whatever. Right. You could have Puma, you could have Nike, you could have anything, right? So that's one of the biggest differences, I think, with the kits, and other jerseys, other kits are made all over the world with different. They change it up every year.
I know you said that you couldn't tell us who you didn't like on the team because you like everybody, but we did have a question here from Lucas. He wants.
That's what I was going to bring up. I don't know if you're ready to answer the question, or you're going to put that life vest on.
That's it. It's a tough question because you like guys in different positions, right? Like, I mean, I love the way that Drake came in and played for us last year. Like that to me was an amazing job by Drake Callender. Had a great season. It was kind of one of those unknowns, right? And he just like came in and really took
Super
off. Had a great
sleeper.
season. Gonzalo, for as much slack as he he got for his first few seasons with us,
From me especially.
I think
Yeah,
I think he made up. He definitely made up for it, right?
big
Like last year, I feel like everybody. It was a great redemption story, and like to me, just watching the world class soccer player that he is,
Yeah, for sure.
that to me was amazing to watch. So,
The-
I mean,
the end
just
of
as
the
a soccer
season now.
fan in general, what's that?
Towards the end of the season, I kept showing up to the stadium with I'm sorry Higuain shirt. Like that,
Oh yeah,
that was my shirt to end the
and
season.
as you should have, It's
Yes.
actually funny story. Like whatever, dude. I'm like a chubby bald guy, right, with a beard. So I'm walking
You look like
into
Higuain.
the stadium early. No, well, this is the funny part. So like I look nothing like Higuain, right? But whatever. So I'm walking into the stadium and check in through security, and some little kids come up to me. They're like, "Oh, it's Gonzalo Higuain." I'm like, "Nah, bro, nah."
They really
They're trying to get my
Hey.
autograph. I'm like, no, man, I'm not. Yeah, I'm just
You're
a
not
little
that far
chubby.
off. You
Yeah,
just need a thicker beard. That's all.
Yeah, I got
All
a
right.
thicker beard. And,
So let's see. We got another one from Steve. How about when stoppage time is shown? Example: 4 minutes, and you say on the PA cuatro minutos, kind of like the Heat. Well, we brought this up.
oh yeah, we
earlier.
talked about that.
Yeah,
He
in the
refuses to
pre-
say just dos minutos for everything, which I think would be hilarious. But
Yeah,
but he did
so
start
Steve,
something last year.
Yeah, I did start a new little tradition. Like I don't want to copy what the Heat guy does. Mike B, he's great, but like I don't want to, I don't want to steal
Not have-
his moves, right? So I'm not that kind of guy. So I wanted to come up kind of with my own little tradition. So what I do is, I'll ask, "Hey fans, how many minutes?" And then you all say however many are left, right?
Cuatro.
That's just my own little thing. So yeah, we can do Spanish, we can do English, whatever. That's one of the other
I
tricky
guess
things, right? So
it's up to the crowd.
That
and
is very
I think
tricky,
the crowd
yes.
automatically does it in Spanish.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, I actually, where I'm sitting, they say it in English, which is kind of funny. So
Damn,
at least where I can. So I'm located in the corner of the stadium. I'm on the I'm on the southwest corner of the stadium.
I have
So
no
I'm
idea
actually
where it's
opposite. So
that's
the
like
supporters
towards our
are on
side, to our
the
left.
on
supporter.
the north.
You're on the north
That's
end
to our-
zone, which the supporters.
We're behind
supporters
the-
are in the north.
We're in the
You're
south.
in the north side.
No, because we don't sit with the
No,
supporters.
we're on
You
the-
guys are.
literally-
Oh, you guys are not. Okay, so you're on the south.
We're-
I'm to your
we're-
left.
Yeah,
We're row one, right behind the goal.
yeah.
So
In
we
section
get to
1,
yell
so
at the
then-
opposing goalie all game long.
Perfect.
Yes.
So I'm in that corner box at the top on the left hand side of you.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So if you look down and somebody's yelling at the goalie, that's us.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's cool. I'll look out
So-
for you. I have my little binoculars. I'll be looking out for you guys.
Yeah, we're always there. Yeah. I mean, do you have anything else, Chris? Because I mean, I'd hate to keep Mike on here longer than he has to be, because I know he's a busy man.
Well, no, man. I mean, it was good to get the point of view, especially from Mike. We're talking about he's the PA announcer for the team, so this was incredible. It was an incredible time.
Yeah. No, I mean, listen,
guess
guys. I've had an absolute blast. I'm obviously I haven't had a chance to really get out there that much and talk about the club. So this is something that means a lot, and I'm excited to do it. I really, as somebody that works with the club as I do, like, this is a pretty cool experience for me. So I appreciate it, guys.
No, and I appreciate your time. I figure we'll just leave you with this last question from Steve. Do you have a favorite chant
Do it.
from the supporters group?
My favorite one is by far the "Oh Rosa Negro." Like, that one just gets
That was hype. That
it
was
gets-
hype.
It gets stuck in my head, and then when the stands start rocking, like, that one gets me going. I like that.
Yeah, that one gets everybody going. Now, I don't know if they're gonna keep piping in because there was a time that they were putting it over the. I guess I don't know if they had
Over a
mic
lot
over
of the
there?
other sections, they were
Right.
piping in what they were doing on the north side throughout
But
the
I
entire
think-
stadium.
like some people didn't.
Yeah, so
like
other
it.
stadiums-
I thought it
yeah.
helped a little bit, get the crowd a little more into it. But
People are
I know a
obviously
lot
not
of
in
people
favor of it.
Right. A lot of people didn't like it.
Yeah, because I guess when you're chanting as a supporter, you
You're
hear
like
your
4
own,
seconds
like,
on delay.
Yeah, you're gonna hear the feedback. So that, I guess that's probably why they wouldn't like it. But I mean, it is cool for the others that are not in the stands because you can also learn to chant.
Correct.
So I think we're kind of torn on that, right? Like we don't want to make the supporters angry, but at the same time, you want the other fans to hear the atmosphere and hear what's going on there to maybe pick up on it and start chanting with them.
Well, one thing I've always recommended to people that go, especially if they really want to help support the club, is go sit a half with the supporter section in the north side, because that is as lively of an experience that you're going to get. And
you just can't walk up in there, man.
No, I mean,
there's like a disclaimer
but
when you buy tickets. When you buy the tickets there's a disclaimer like, yo, you're going to be standing, you're going to be chanting,
and you got to wear the
probably
colors.
going to be smoking. You're probably going to be smoking.
Yeah.
In a non-smoking section, by the way.
Yeah, I know, right? It's insane. It's
Ryan
insane.
Fink Stadium is a smoke-free facility, except
in the north side.
Let me tell you something. It's fun though. We've gone over there. It's definitely fun. Unfortunately, when we have gone over there, we unfortunately haven't seen any wins when we've gone over to that side. So we stay on our side. I don't know if we bring bad luck over to the other side, so we stay on our side. Yeah. But we're a good home team, so that's always been a plus. Well, again, I can't thank you enough for your time. I look forward to seeing you out there at the stadium, listening to you. Hopefully, yelling dos minutos for everything. No, that's not gonna happen. No, probably not.
I'll try and I'll promise something to you. All right, the next time you see 2 minutes on that board, I'm gonna throw a dos minutos at you, but that's gonna be the last time I do it.
But
it'll be our little secret.
I'm gonna look up and I'm gonna go like this because you're to my left. I'm gonna go like this.
You can point at me. I did it once. I'm not doing it again. I'm Mike Marinelli, not Mike B. All right.
Yeah, got you. All right. So thank you guys for the ones that tuned in and listen live. For those of you listening on audio or later on YouTube, thank you guys for listening all the way to the end. And thank you one more time to Mike Marinelli for joining us, the voice of Drive Pink Stadium. We got a month, 6 weeks ago to the season starts. Looking forward to it. Anything for
I
the
want to see everybody out of the stadium. Yeah, I want to see everybody at the stadium getting loud. I want to see all the supporters out there, all the fans, and then just do yourself a favor. If you haven't been out to the games yet, if you haven't been out to a match, you got to do it because everybody that goes does not regret it. I promise you that.
100%. Look, Chris didn't watch soccer. I brought him to one game. He became a season ticket holder. That's it. So
that's all it takes.
He talks into Miami once a week with me on here. Like, come on.
It's crazy. That's crazy.
That's proven right there that it works. So just show up to the stadium, and you know what? It's a great time. Look, my wife isn't even that into sports, but she loves going out to watch the games. So
and Steve Munoz says you got to bring a spliff with you when you come. Okay.
No, we're not promoting that. We're not promoting that. We're not promoting that. Negative.
It's a family friendly environment, guys.
Family friendly. Yes,
100%.
sir.
100%. All right. Well, thank you,
Get
everyone.
here, Steve.
And we will catch you guys next week. Appreciate the time.
By smoke, I meant